And welcome back to the Plastic Crack Show. I'm your host Lee. We have the Star Wars Forces of Destiny, Rey of Jakku and BB8. It is of course a product by Disney and Hasbro, and it is for children ages 3 years or more. As we can see from the front, it is of course this wonderfully windowed box. Has a gimmick featured icon there, so obviously it's supposed to do something. We can see in its entirety the figure of Rey and of course the BB8. You get this nice little cartoony image at the front here with of course the Star Wars Forces of Destiny logo. For those who haven't watched it, and it is probably being deleted by Disney now because it wasn't a really great series, there is an accompanying YouTube series called The Forces of Destiny. And as we scroll around to the back, of course it's a bubbled front on a card back, we get to a little blurb again about Rey of Jakku and BB8 in 4 different languages. We get to find out a little bit more about the gimmick feature, which is the swings a lightsaber. So Rey will swing a lightsaber, apparently, and we will get to that. And BB-8's head spins. Other figures in the series, of course, are Jyn Erso and Sabine Wren. And for those who, if this is not the first one you've come into of mine, will realise that, of course, in Australia, we really did miss out on the extended range of Forces of Destiny figures. But these are cheap. These are very cheap in Australia at the moment. These sold poorly, and it was so cheap I was actually able to get, well, this is the second one I got. I actually picked this one up cheap. This was the original one I paid full retail for. Bit of a disappointment, but hey, it is what it is. And there we go. That is, of course, Jyn Erso. Sorry, Rey of Jakku. Wish I had Jyn Erso. Rey of Jakku and BB-8 out of the box. So let's have a quick look. Well, actually, let's look at BB-8 first, because, you know, we've already seen a Rey, so let's have a quick look at BB and see what BB has to offer. So it is a hard plastic figure. It does what it says it's supposed to do. So the head rotates. These antennas are a little bit rubbery, so we'll take a little bit of punishment. The paint app is good. It looks like BB-8. It's a static figure. It does nothing else. It just sits there on the bottom. It just has, of course, the 2016 licensing from Hasbro, made in China. It is what it is. It is a BB-8 figure. Now let's have a look at the Rey, because this Rey is different to the last Rey, because this is the Jakku Rey, just like the other Rey of Jakku. So again, we've got the Barbie style hair, that very sort of, fabricy hair. She has this time around a fabric top, again still fabric sleeves. The actual top is painted on, or it's actually a moulding. The skirt is a rubbery plastic to allow for the gimmick feature. Again, the leg, or the clothing on the legs are again a moulding. So that's that. The boots are removable, but we've never bothered to try. She does get this nice belt, Han Solo-esque, with of course the blaster that she receives when her and Han visit Maz Kanata. And she of course has the blue lightsaber, which, yeah, I haven't watched all of the Force of Destiny series. Makes no sense, because obviously in the movie she doesn't get the lightsaber until she goes to see Maz Kanata. But of course, range of motion, or the range of, articulation, yes, she has fairly good hip articulation both sides. Knees are basically 90 degrees. Very ratchety. It's a quiet ratchet, but you feel the ratcheting. Arm motion, well, yeah, it's again full 360. It's fairly articulated. You can feel on the elbows it's very ratchety again, which is good. The hands are very rubbery, but again, full motion. You can do whatever you want with them. You know, the figure itself is that hard, rigid plastic, so it's got a lot of playability. Oh, there you go, I didn't even notice that before. It has even got a spin, a second articulation in the knees. And of course the back, well, it's just pretty much the back. Not a whole lot there. And of course, like the last one, or if this is the first one you're watching, the other Rey of Jakku, it has a gimmick feature. This one sort of works. So the idea obviously is that Rey has the lightsaber pointed out and she should be able to swing it. it's not terribly exciting. Maybe for an 8-year-old they'd fall over. You know, Hasbro certainly has done better gimmick features than other figures in the past. So you can certainly see why these aren't selling well in Australia. I don't know about it. Certainly you see why the Australian market hasn't taken to these. I mean, the face is fine. The face is, it looks like Rey. I mean, it's not movie accurate. It's not cartoon accurate, but it's still, you can tell it's Rey. You know, everything about it screams Star Wars, so it's not falling down there. It's just, it's a meh. You know, the original price point of these figures, particularly in Australia, is about the same as a Black Series figure, which is obviously 6 inches, 12, but you know, the 6-inch Black Series is far more articulation, far better looking figures, playability, endless. These, yeah, as a display figure, they do the job. I'm thinking, you know, an 8-year-old girl playing with these for more than 5 minutes will probably just get bored and move on to the next big thing. So that was it. That was the Rey of Jakku with BB8 from the Star Wars Forces of Destiny. This was, of course, a Plastic Crack Show. I was your host, Lee, and we will see you next time.